Hi, this is Adrienne Barbeau. Just call me Billy. Everyone does. And you're listening to WithoutYourHead.com.
Welcome to the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neil.
That would make me terrible, Troy.
And we are joined here, Reine Swart, the star of Lullaby. It's good to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's really exciting, and I'm glad you liked our film from South Africa. It's bizarre, it's a little bit different, and it's definitely a first from our country.
Yeah. So, actually, right away about South Africa, are there a lot of horror movies made there or seen there?
No, not at all. It's mostly romantic comedies and dramas. And this is the first one in about 20 years, I think.
Oh, wow.
I don't know the exact time, but there was one zombie film that was good. But this was the first horror film from Darrell Roodt, he's a big South African director. So yes, I hope there will be many more, to come and everything. I hope it's the first and that we just learn and move on from here.
Yeah. How do the people there see horror films? Like, I assume some are shown from other countries. Are people into them? Do people dislike them? Or?
I would say comedies do very well in South Africa. But it specifically did well last year when it was on. And so if there's a good marketing campaign, behind it does quite well. But there is a very big horror community in Cape Town, I think, which they support horror films a lot too.
Yeah. So how did you get involved in the movie if really horror movies aren't made there?
Yeah, no. So the thing is, Darrell Roodt, he's really great and everything, and I've always wanted to work with him. About 10 years ago, I think even more. Okay, but anyway, in 2004, he was the first South African director to be nominated for an Oscar. So he was everywhere, on TV, on the news, and and then I was like, I want to work with Darrell one day, and I was really excited to have the opportunity to work with him. But anyway, how did I get involved? So I auditioned for the film. For my audition, I read the scenes, and it was really cool and everything, because I was like, okay, I like horror movies. I'm gonna go all out. And when I came into the audition room, I saw that everyone looked so pretty, and I looked really scary because I had my nightgown on, and my hair was all greasy, and I didn't have any makeup on. So I was like, okay, maybe I misread something. I'm not sure, but I'm here. I'm just going to do what I want to do, and I'm just going to have fun with it. And I had a lot of fun, and they actually, afterwards, they said they didn't quite take that far in the script, so they changed a few things, and they liked what I did, and they chose me. So yeah, it was really cool.
Oh, that's cool that you actually even ended up adding to the script just from your audition. Yeah. Do you remember what scene you read for the audition?
That was a scene that wasn't in the film. It was a scene that was between Adam and Chloe, and it was a scene. It was actually a very cool scene. So I was kind of bummed it wasn't in. It was a scene where they were just talking in the forest, and there was this entity floating above her. So it was completely different. It was still in the very, very beginning, and so it wasn't in the film.
Yeah. Besides just being a horror movie, what interested you in the role?
What interested me, besides being horror, so horror, I thought that it would be a lot of fun, and it was really draining, but I really liked it, and I had a lot of fun with it. So what else I liked about it was, so when they developed the script, it went into postpartum psychosis, is this mental illness So if I can quickly just, you get baby blues, and then you get postnatal depression, and then you get postpartum psychosis. So only like 0.1% women get postpartum psychosis, and that's like a very, very severe and dangerous mental illness. Mm-hmm. It's when moms just completely they hallucinate, and so this is worse than postnatal depression, which is quite common. Postnatal depression. Postpartum psychosis is really, really scary, and I read a lot of stuff, books about it, and I watched a lot of documentaries. So I was like making it real for myself, as real as possible. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that was the other very interesting thing for me.
Yeah. Was that what was draining about the role? Kind of getting into that mindset?
Yeah, and like thinking to have to want to hurt your baby, like, because that's actually what happens is they hallucinate sometimes that they do hurt their babies, and that's just, because I was like hurting kids, that's a little bit too far for me, I was like, oh, uh-huh. But when I heard it's like a real disorder and everything, I respected that, So just going back to the postpartum psychosis, Andrea Yates it's a very sad story. She's a woman from Texas, and she killed 5 of her children. I just read her story and watched the documentary. So if something's wrong, I'm not off book on this. But I found it very interesting. And the first thing we would think is, what a monster, But then I went. And I understood that she had this mental illness and she needed medical attention. Mm-hmm. So then I kind of I felt for her, and I was like, I can never judge anyone if I don't know their situation. So I learned to mm-hmm. And so that was really great. Learning from that, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Actually, has your mom seen the movie?
Yes, my mom's seen it a couple of times. I think she's my number one fan. She likes horror, so she's kind of cute.
That's good.
Oh, that's excellent.
But she said the first time she saw her popcorn, she was like, "What?" She started crying. She's like, "No, this is too much. It's my child." Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and it is a much darker movie than I thought it would be. Going in, which that's not an odd. That's positive for me, but. So when you're reading the script, before they changed it, was it as dark?
Before they changed it, it was. I didn't think it was. I didn't read the script before it was changed, but I think they went into more of the psychological horror. Like being more. You can either. It can be real for you, or it can be fictional. Like. Surreal in a way, where I think Taryn's idea originally was, so in South Africa they have this lullaby, Simbamba, which is the original name of the film, and it's this lullaby. It's in Afrikaans, so it's different. So in Afrikaans it would be Simbamba Mama Sakantjie. In English it would be Simbamba Mommy's little baby. Wring his neck, step on his head, make sure he's dead. And it's just like a lullaby we sing. It's just like, everyone knows the song. And she linked, I think this is actually my mom texting me. So I'm sorry if it pings like that.
That's all right.
Did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear it. So.
Okay, great. So anyway, so what happens is she wanted to link that with postpartum psychosis, and she's a very young, talented writer, and I think she took on a very big, opportunity, and she did it very well, and it was definitely a first for her as well, because she writes different stuff. She writes drama or romantic comedy because that sells in South Africa. And I think I'm just like talking now, and I went away from your question. Yeah.
No, that's fine. No, it was good because I love the lullaby, and I didn't know it was a real lullaby. But yeah. I think sometimes with something, even if you're not aware that it's like something that's been around a long time, it adds something to the movie. Like it kind of like subconsciously there's something about that nursery rhyme. And then
but you guys have a nursery rhyme, right? Well, what's the one in America? The one scary lullaby.
Yeah, falling out of the tree there. What would be like a scary lullaby, Troy?
Oh, let me see. What is it even called? Ashes, ashes, we all fall down. That thing.
Oh yes, exactly.
Rockabye Baby's pretty creepy when you think about it.
Yeah. Rockabye Baby in the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall, and down will come baby, cradle and all.
Yeah.
It's pretty weird when you think about it. It's weird because you hear it all the time and you don't think anything of it, but then when you actually break down the words, it's like, wow, it's very bizarre.
Exactly. That's the same thing with the South African one. So I guess it's like a universal thing. We have these terrible lullabies that we all sing and we don't really think about the words.
Yeah, that's true. If you don't really think too much about it, it's like, okay, this kind of like has a nice.
It sounds pleasant. Right.
Yeah.
And I have to say, everyone, to stay for the credits, because then you hear, this isn't a spoiler at all, but they have a music version of the nursery rhyme. That's pretty awesome.
Yes, that's Anton Goosen. He's the musician, so he did that for the film, and I thought that was pretty cool too. Yeah.
So you mentioned the writer. Did she have any interaction with you for the movie?
Yeah, I met her a few times with the readings and everything, and because sometimes I didn't understand, because it's such a bizarre thing. So she had like a whole set of emotions, and she went really deep into it, and I think she helped me a lot. And so she's Taryn Prinsloo, and she's actually teaching at the university as well. So she's writing and teaching writing, and so I think we'll see a lot of cool stuff coming from her in the future. And I think South Africa has like a lot of horror stories that they still need to tell, like even myths and stuff. Yeah.
I'd be interested.
Yeah, there's a lot of folklore and things, around there that would make for interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
So you wanted to work with the director Darrell Roodt before you got the role. What was it like to work with him?
Yeah, Darrell he's amazing. I think he's very intelligent. I think he can be a doctor or, whatever he wants to be, but he chose to be a director, and that's very cool. He's designed the best ways, and he just wants, I don't know, sometimes I thought, I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm just going to trust you because you know better, and you've been doing films. He's been making films for decades. I'm not sure how long, but and he has a lot of energy. So it's very interesting because it's horror, and some scenes were kind of uncomfortable and everything, and he just lightened up everything. And he's really, really great to work with. And if you ever meet him, you'll think he's a little bit, how can I say this? He's very chill, he wears like t-shirts and stuff. So he's so chill. He's perfect for the horror genre, and I hope he does a lot more horror films. He did Lake Placid. Have you seen? He did a remake of it now. So have you seen? Yeah, the original one.
Yeah, I like the original one quite a bit.
I do too.
Mm-hmm. With Betty White.
Yeah, so he did the remake now. So we'll see. I think it's going to be fun because he's a fun person and he's smart, like I said. Yeah.
Actually, you mentioned you liking horror movies and your mom being liking horror movies. What were some of the ones you liked growing up? And what are some of her favorites?
Oh, yeah. So not that she's into... Okay, I said she liked horror movies. She likes, like, The Shape of Water. She liked, anything a little bit surreal and everything. Mm-hmm. Say again?
Nothing wrong with that.
I loved that. That was probably my favorite movie last year. So.
The Shape of Water?
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah, that was so good. Wow. And I mean, all of the characters, Sally Hawkins and Octavia Spencer, all of them are just so brilliant, and it's such a great script. It's really good. Yeah. No, so the horror movies that I like The Ring was like one of the first movies that really freaked me out. I was
I can
10
see
or
that.
something. Yeah, I was like 10 or something, and I watched it, and I remember we went. I had an older friend, and she bought tickets, so it's not the right. I know it's not the right thing to do, but anyway. And I watched it in the movies, and we were like the only ones watching, and I was like, "Oh, this is so scary!" And when I went home, I couldn't sleep and everything. That was really well done and scary. And The Shining is just so brilliant. Jack Nicholson and the movie's just also so random, but it really works. I don't know if you guys liked it. That one is a classic, obviously.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
I've seen that at the big screen too, which is cool.
That's very cool. And then I don't know, the other ones that I watched for this film was Rosemary's Baby, Babadook, and I just for fun because The Conjuring 2 was in cinema in South Africa, so I watched that one, and I think the actors are just brilliant, and it's really scary. I couldn't sleep for 3 days as well. I was like, the woman's coming for me.
The Babadook's a good tie-in too, because it has the kind of the not necessarily nursery rhyme, but it has the book, and it's kind of a similar idea.
Exactly, yeah. So channeling from that, it really worked. And I mean, Rosemary's Baby is kind of like that's also
that's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and tell me a bit of, I mean, you guys obviously have watched a lot of horror movies. Are there any ones you recommend that I should watch?
For like newer ones, or for any, actually, this last year was pretty good was really good for horror movies. But you probably saw it.
Yes.
What was
great movie.
Devil's Candy last year was one of my favorite horror movies. That's a lesser known one. I think it's on Netflix. So I would recommend that.
Yeah, it's a good indie film. It's really, really good.
Yeah, it's pretty dark.
Oh, wow.
It's definitely good.
It's a good script, and good actors and everything. It just works.
It's a really great. It's a great cast, and what I like is the villain. You feel sympathy for the villain, even though he's doing terrible things. I always think that's a good sign of a good
wow, that's powerful. Wow, yeah. And tell me, Get Out. I know everyone.
Get Out.
I watched it too.
It's good too.
This is great, and so I watched that one too. What was the one before? Was it The Witch?
Oh yeah, The Witch.
2 years ago.
Yeah, that was just a couple years ago.
That was bizarre.
Yeah.
I was also the baby thing. I was like, no, baby.
Right, when the baby disappears right at the beginning.
Yes, exactly.
So speaking of
the music is just good,
the music is very good in The Witch. But I was thinking about the baby scenes. What was like the hardest scene for you to shoot in Lullaby?
For me, it would be, I don't know, like I didn't like hurting the baby, like cutting his little fingers off. I don't know, it wasn't real or anything. It's just
right. Well, I hope not.
No, of course. No, the thing is, with a baby, they're so helpless, It's so that's why I was channeling the whole thing of postpartum psychosis to make it real for me that I am in this like daze and I'm hallucinating, and I'm not in my right mind, and so that was difficult, and also like an uncomfortable scene. Maybe I'm going to give something away, but I know you'll know what scene I'm talking about. There's one scene that's like there's actually two different scenes. That's very that makes a woman feel very vulnerable, and weak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So those scenes were difficult too. But other than that, we had such a small cast, and they all were great, and they made it a lot easier, and they were very respectful and great to work with.
Mm-hmm. How about when you saw the finished product? What did you think of the movie, and were there any scenes actually for you that were hard to watch for you?
I guess not. I guess when you watch your own stuff, you kind of watch more technically because you were there. I think the cinematography is beautiful for me. I like that kind of, because Justice Diacher is, he was the DP and he just put so much into it, and he's artistic, and so I really like that. I think my favorite scene when I watched it was the bath scene with what happens in there, that one scene with the water and everything. That was really beautiful. So I kind of just looked at it more with an artistic eye, and I guess you do judge yourself because it's yourself, and you'd be like, I would have changed that and that, but it is what it is, and I worked very hard. We had 18 days, and we did everything in those 18 days, and as long as I enjoyed it and I learned from it, I feel that, I did what I could, and I learned from it.
Yeah. I mean, I thought you were great in it, and from your regular pictures and in the movie, you definitely, you came across as someone that was, I don't want to say crazy, but stuff's going on. So you did very good job.
Yeah, inside the head.
Exactly.
Good. No, thank you. That's a great compliment.
You're welcome. And when you saw the movie, did you see it with an audience?
No. I saw a screener before, so that helps too. You can pause it and watch it and go on your own pace. Where I remember my first film that I did a couple of years ago. I watched it in an audience, and I was kind of like, I couldn't talk. It was kind of like embarrassing, but it was. I think it came out well, but it was just like everyone's watching you and you're watching you, and it's just kind of awkward. So I think it's nice to see it on the screener and then watch it with people. You know what to expect. Yeah.
I don't think I would enjoy that, watching something with me up
you
on
don't?
the screen. Yeah.
Do you listen to your own stuff sometimes?
Well, I kind of have to when I edit the show, but it's I don't really. I do a lot of videos and stuff too, and I'm not a big fan of seeing myself on the video.
Yeah, but you always sound good anyway, Neil.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's
you both have very good voices, so
thank you.
It works.
Yeah. Do we sound alike? Because actually, we're actually brothers, and we're from the same area, but a lot of people think we have different accents. Yeah.
No, you do sound different. You sound different from, to me you sound completely different. That's really cool that you're brothers. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Neil
so
has
nice.
no accent, which is strange to me. Like every now and then I get that weird Boston accent going. And you can't really hear that with him.
No,
actually, even people from this area don't think I'm really from here.
Yeah.
No, you have they call it a standard American accent. It's a very, But your brother's got a little bit of something going on. So where are you originally from? Sorry if I can ask.
That's fine. We're both from Cape Cod in Massachusetts.
Oh, Massachusetts. Oh, nice. Okay. Up there in the cold. Nice.
Yeah.
It is pretty cold. We lost the power last week. We had a big storm here. That wasn't fun.
Oh, I saw something like that. No, that doesn't sound fun. But yeah, I mean, you guys are close to Toronto, close to New York, so you're in a great area, so it's great.
Yeah. I've actually never been to Canada, but I know there's a big movie festival in the summer. I've been invited to a bunch of times. So, yeah, I should definitely go there.
I think that's a really great festival. I've been watching them, what movies they recommend, and it's always good. So I think it's a great festival.
Yeah. So have you been to for this movie or other movies? Have you been to any festivals that were showing your stuff?
I've been to for the other films, but not for this one particularly. They had it in Ireland, and I know it's going to Scotland now, but no. That would be fun, I guess, going to... I've never been to a horror film festival, so I'd love to go.
Yeah. So do you know why they
recommend
see I've
horror film festivals?
See, I haven't been to a lot of horror film festivals myself. I've been to a lot of horror movie conventions. Okay. With the but it's been suggested I do more festivals because they said people there sell their movies, they'll be more likely to do interviews and stuff. So I'll get back to you when we do some and let you know which ones are my favorite.
That would be great. Now I'm just going to follow you guys on Twitter and everything. So
yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So why do you know why they changed the name from the original title of the Lullaby?
I don't know the particulars, but what I think is so Simbamba is a very it's a popular, like I said, a popular lullaby in South Africa. So everyone in South Africa knew it, but I think they wanted to make it more universal that people understand, because people would maybe not understand Simbamba. So they changed it for the bigger crowd.
Yeah. Is that interesting to you that you make a movie in South Africa about, it's got the South African lullaby in it and everything, and then it plays in other countries that people, watch it and then they enjoy it and understand it?
Yeah, that's actually great because most of my films, in the beginning of my career, most of my films and TV work was in Afrikaans, so that's a different language, and it's a great market and everything. But if you do something in English, more people understand, and it's got a bigger audience, and so I know they wanted to go with this one. Obviously, in South Africa, there is not a lot of horror supporters, or I just don't know about them, but they went for, especially for South America and America, Canada, Japan really likes this film, so they bought it too, and even Saudi Arabia, and I don't know, a lot of different smaller countries. So it's nicer when you have it in English, so you can spread, you can sell your film to more countries. It just makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So did you grow up speaking both languages?
Yes. So in South Africa, everyone speaks English, so we all understand each other. But we have 9 official languages, so we have all these little communities. Yes. So Afrikaans is like kitchen Dutch, they call it. It's a lot like Dutch, but it's different, obviously. And so I grew up in an Afrikaans community, if I can say that. But my family is English as well, so we're all like mixed, and despite what everyone thinks, I think the new generation, we love each other, and we're going to grow in South Africa. And I think, but I actually live in America now, so I miss South Africa a lot. So I'm going to say great things about South Africa because it is a great country.
Yeah. So how many languages do you speak?
No, so I just speak English, Afrikaans, and then a little bit of French and German.
All right. That's better than most of us, so I think. So.
Yeah. I still haven't mastered the English part, so, once I do that.
Oh, wow. I hear you. But English is difficult. It's a Latin language. It's a difficult language, so.
Mm-hmm. So I saw that you were on an episode of Z Nation. Did you?
You watch it?
Yeah, I'm behind on Z Nation, but I have watched the first couple seasons. It's a weird thing now because now you can binge watch stuff. So then you can be behind a little bit, then you can catch up and watch a few seasons, which I need to do with Z Nation.
It's fun, right? Yeah,
it is very fun. Yeah, it wasn't like
that
at all.
Sorry, now I have to ask: do you watch Z Nation and Walking Dead?
Yeah, well, I like them both. Z Nation's more comedic, and I actually think the characters are more interesting than a lot of the ones on The Walking Dead. But I like The Walking Dead. I really love the comic book.
Yeah, Walking Dead is just amazing too, and you like exactly what you're saying. Z Nation is a fun time. It's a fun zombie. If you like zombie stuff, it's more in the line of what was that film? It's really a cool film. There was Shaun of the Dead, like a more comedy.
Shaun of the Dead, yeah.
That one, and Zombieland, I think, yes. Also.
Oh yeah, Yeah, with the clown zombie at the end. Yeah, that's a very good one.
Dead Alive's a great one too, from New Zealand.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. Okay, another film for.
Yeah, if you like fun zombie movies, that's a great one.
Yeah, it's just wild.
Very wild.
It's
so cool
Peter Jackson. He made it.
Yeah?
Peter Jackson.
Oh wow.
Made it. Yeah, before like Lord of the Rings and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a wild one. I think it's
different.
Yeah, and I think it's called Brain Dead everywhere else besides.
Oh, that's right.
It's called Dead Alive. But yeah,
that sounds really cool. Wow.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Did you get to play a zombie on Z Nation? I guess maybe not spoil it. I don't know.
Oh no, I'm not gonna spoil it for you. The Z Nation's really. I had so much fun. You'll see, like when we watch it. I played Carly McFadden, this very ditzy and happy and news reporter. Well, she's actually a weather girl. And then there's this urgent news, she has to report it, and she's like so excited to do it. And and everything. They actually covered the whole story of the zombie apocalypse. So it's flashbacks and everything. So I had a lot of fun. And Dan Merchant was the director, and he also writes. He writes for the series, and he wrote that one too. And he's incredible. He knew exactly what he wanted, and I like that, And so you can just follow and trust that he knows best.
Mm-hmm. I see that you have a short that you wrote and produced, or it's coming out. Can you tell us anything about it?
Yeah. So this whole horror thing, I watched a lot of horrors in my teens, and then I kind of took a break for 2 years. I don't know why. Maybe just I didn't watch anything, and then I started watching again. And I really find horrors fun. And what I like about now I'm gonna come to the short film. What I like about horrors is it takes you out of this reality, and it just kind of works with your imagination and all the because it's nice to watch a film that's based on a true story. I absolutely love that too. But it's also nice to watch a horror or a fantasy or sci-fi film. It just takes you somewhere else. And so the thing is, I wrote and directed 2 short films last year, and they're both horror or psychological thriller, because that's the kind of genre that I find that I resonate with, and so I'm just playing with it, and hopefully it's going to get better from here. So the one that I have is Squinma, so that's in Afrikaans, and my very good friend, she's a very well-known actress in South Africa, Marie Molefe van Heerden, she plays in it. And so Squinma means mother-in-law. So I just replayed with that. And so that's going into, I know it's going to show in Sweden now, so it's going to a film festival there. And so we just entered it into film festival. So hopefully we'll get into a few.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very cool. And I see this other one on your IMDb, Ico in Portland.
Yes, Ico in Portland. So that's the psychological thriller one. I was living in Portland, Oregon for a while. And by the way, Portland is such an amazing place. If you've never been there, you have to go. It's beautiful. It's really cool. And the people are so friendly. It's a beautiful little city. And it's growing, which is cool. Okay, so Ico in Portland is it's a psychological thriller, and Taryn, she plays the lead character in it, and it's about it's kind of like it's just this camera. So no, the story's going to sound ridiculous if I tell it. So when it's done, like it's festival, the whole brand, I'll send you the link so you can watch it.
All right. I'd love to watch it. It seems that the last few years that shorts have really become popular.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to and I think festivals have become more popular as well, if I'm not mistaken. Well, that's what I think. And I think it's good to, in the beginning, if you want to direct and everything, that's what I think. Maybe make a few stuff, You don't want to if you went to film school, great, that's the number one thing to do. And make your own stuff. See what works, see what doesn't work, and just grow from there. And a lot of films do very well, and then you can network with people and meet people, because networking is very important in any career. And so it's a good way to get into the film industry and grow yourself.
Yeah, I think for several reasons, that's what you said. Also, it's some practice, and I also think it's a good way for people to show other people what they can do. Like, hey, check this out, this 10-minute short or whatever, and then perhaps they'll, it'll help you, create a feature then, at some point, or work on a feature at some point.
Oh yes, you're talking. Do you know Lights Out, the movie?
Right. Yeah, it was like a 2-minute short or something. The original.
Okay, yes, but the short film got picked up to be a feature film, exactly. So that's so great. I mean, the short film it was really good. I was really impressed. I think it was really great.
It spooked me out, the short film.
Yeah, just put on all the lights. Don't put it all.
Right. And then just a practical thing, actually, about a film festival. If you go to a short film festival, you don't have to devote as much time to each one. So if you're watching one that might not be the best, not to name any names or anything, it's like, well, I know it's only 5 minutes long. Then there'll be another one after that. So.
Exactly.
Right. But
yeah.
I forgot I didn't.
I don't know. Yeah.
No, go on. I'm sorry.
No, tell me. No, I want to hear.
All right. Well, I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier when we were talking about film festivals. Just earlier today, I was given a press badge for the upcoming Boston Underground Film Festival. It's coming up March 24th weekend, so I'm looking forward to that.
That's really cool. That's going to be really fun. Because short films, like you said, there's going to be great ones. There's going to be, there's always someone that likes your film, so don't feel, and you'll grow. Talking about film festivals, so a friend and I and another, so two friends and I, we started a film festival in South Africa 2 years ago, and we're still keeping on with it. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and we had to recruit like a lot of people helping us, and a whole collaboration. But it's just fantastic to see short films, and the animation is one of my favorites. I didn't find a lot of horrors. That's why I wanted to make a few horrors too, because mostly it would be dramatic shorts, or comedy is not common as well. So I would suggest, if you just from my point of view, if you make a short film, yes, drama is beautiful, and you can do that and make sure it's a strong story then, and all of that. But if you can do a comedy or a horror, that's something that that's not as common, and I think you have a better chance to get in.
Which part do you enjoy most? Do you enjoy acting, or creating something, like writing and directing it? Or is it just all the same? Is it all creation?
I don't know. Like 90% of my career has been acting, so I really enjoy that. But I think I am moving into a stage in my life that I want to do something else in the film industry as well. And I do enjoy that, but I still need to learn a lot. So I'd say at the moment I enjoy acting more, because I would feel more comfortable there.
Yeah. So I know the Lullaby is out now. How can people get it? Is it on video on demand, or is it on DVD yet?
No, it's not on DVD. It's on iTunes, and I know it's in selected theaters in Atlanta, Phoenix. I actually need to know this. Sorry.
I should have known myself. So.
and New York. Well, there's a couple of theaters. Miami as well, and Cleveland. I'm naming all of them. So yeah, so there's a few theaters that have that, that's showing it, which is really nice of them. Being that it's a South African film, and it's not like we're known here at all. People don't know Darrell. Maybe people do, but I just mean he's a South African director and everything. And
yeah, I do have the list. Yeah, I'll just say this real quick. I do have the list here. It's Phoenix, L.A., Philadelphia, Chicago, Atlanta, Dallas, Cleveland, San Francisco, Miami, and Denver.
Oh, look at you. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Yeah, so it's showing at those theaters, and you can get it rented on iTunes, and I'm sure they'll announce everything as it comes in and as it happens. And so I would like to know, being a reviewer, do you guys get a reviewing screener? May I ask this? Is this a question I can ask? I'm always very curious.
So how do we get that?
Yeah.
They usually send us a screener link. Sometimes companies will send a physical screener like a DVD or Blu-ray, but usually it's a link and then you get a password and you can watch it on Vimeo. Usually is where it's usually where the companies put it up.
Okay, that makes sense and makes it easier for everyone. Yeah. Have it. Okay. No, that makes sense.
Yeah, and make sure if you get a screener, anybody, don't share the links out to other people. That's bad.
Yep.
Bad for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for everybody. Because I think it's difficult these days to, except if you're Black Panther or anything, to make money on your movie, because everyone can pirate it and just watch it illegally because it's so easy for people to do that. But the same with music. It's difficult, I think, to keep it secure.
Yeah, I think they say for most musicians, they make their money touring because there really isn't a lot of money to make anymore.
That's kind of sad, really.
Yeah. I know even just
they've worked so hard.
Yeah, exactly. Go on. What you're saying? I'm sorry.
No, you go on.
Well, I was just gonna say because we've had some guests on the show. Like a few years ago, Tales from Halloween and Turbo Kid, and both of them were both when they came out, they were the number one most torrented movie above Jurassic World and the new Terminator at the time. It really hurts the independent movies because just the other movies, there's a lot of people who go to the theater, and these movies they're not. And so if you want, then people complain sometimes that there's not, original horror movies out there. There's always these remakes and stuff. But a lot of it is because that you should, support
support it, right?
Exactly. Well, that's very sad, and I hope it does. That's really sad to hear. That's exactly what's happening. It's like people trying to break in, and then, people just pirate their movies and just, never make money of it, and you can't really make your next one, and just goes on like that. Because the independent stuff it's great. It's always got different a different flavor, a different recipe, if I can say that. It's always different and unique, and it's always refreshing to watch because it's different from the whole commercial, circuit.
Yeah, and a lot of people, and that's where a lot of times people Troy mentioned Peter Jackson making Dead Alive. So when young Peter Jackson was making that as just an independent filmmaker, and he made that, then went on to make all these direct movies. And so you never know someone who's making a small movie, independent movie, where they can go from there. Maybe they'll stay with independent movies like a George Romero or something. But you never really might become the next Peter Jackson.
Exactly. No. So, and what I like about scary movies, I'm sorry, we're just talking about what I like about the whole horror thing. It's you can have so many different characters, interesting people. It's not the whole, you want this person to look like. I don't know if I'm bringing myself. Yeah, you bring very interesting characters in, which is really fun. Maria Olsen, she's a South African actress. She's been living in Los Angeles for about 13 years, and she also makes a lot of horror films. And she's got such a great, she can do characters very well, different types of characters, and that's what's fun about horror. You can be some, you don't have to be the normal girl next door, or it's always different characters, and it makes it more interesting for me to watch sometimes.
Yeah, and there's different. If a movie is considered a horror movie, that doesn't even narrow it down what genre it really could be in, because it could be a comedic horror movie, it could be gory, it could be this is a psychological. It's all different types of horror movies.
That's very true. Okay, but wait, like Saw or something like that. That would be more thriller, I guess. Or would you say horror?
Yeah, thriller or horror, but then at the same time, it's a grittier type of movie.
Yes, exactly. More blood and more pain and everything.
Yeah.
Well, I feel that the Lullaby is more of a psychological horror. It's it's definitely, it's not like it where it's a horror, like a full on mind fucking horror. I was like, that was also very scary.
Yeah.
It was so well done. I mean, the budget behind it, it's just so beautifully done. And the kids, oh my goodness.
Yeah, they were great in it. Yeah.
Wow. No, they were amazing.
Yeah, it wasn't like the perfect casting, I think, for that movie.
Exactly. I mean, the girls and all the boys, and they were all just perfect. So we're very excited to see who's going to be casted as the older people.
Me too.
Adults.
Me too. Yeah. It's
poor Georgie. He's not going to be. He's just going to be himself.
No more Georgie.
Yeah.
He's so cute.
He is very cute. And then it makes it. Yeah, that really brings out the horror of it, because you like the kid so much, and then see him get ripped apart. Very traumatizing. And then to see him throughout the movie popping up.
I think that was the worst of it when he showed up again. Then you're like, oh no.
Yeah, without the arms, no.
Yeah, yeah. Then you're feeling bad for poor Bill at that point in time.
Yeah, oh, poor brother. No, it's just like, so it's very. So South Africa obviously has like a lot of a smaller country, and smaller budgets, but we're having fun with the whole film industry, and I guess it is. Well, I'm not guessing. I know it's growing, so I would feel that America's the biggest filmmaking country, obviously, and then you get Bollywood and Nollywood, and you get the UK and Australia and New Zealand. So I trust that South Africa would, come on the map, hopefully soon. But you need more producers, like Andre and Samuel. They were our producers, and because everyone was like, "Why do you make a horror?" Romantic comedies are the only thing in South Africa that makes money. But they took a leap of faith, I guess, and just like did what they liked, and that was very brave. So kudos to them for doing that.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, that's great to hear things like that, though, because everything's going to start somewhere.
And I think now with all on the demand and Hulu and Netflix and all these things, it does make it easier for movies from other countries to be seen in other countries.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's very true. I don't know. I haven't really seen. Living in America, you kind of you see all the you see all the American films and stuff. But even in South Africa, we watch a lot of American films. It's just such a big industry, It's actually. But you guys should actually. I think you should be different countries within America, because it's a really big country.
That's true. There's a lot of diversity.
Yeah, and there's different parts of the country have much different politics and different thoughts on things. So yeah, it's you can't really just say you're an American and you'd be all the same. I mean, a Texan is much different than someone in Los Angeles or up here in the Northeast.
Exactly, and you guys have like different accents too.
Right, exactly.
You get to serve next end, and then you get to Boston. I don't know. It's really interesting. I find Americans, but stereotyping now. I find Americans very friendly. Overall very very interested in other cultures and everything. So that's very, it's been helping us living in America. That at least they're very not closed off and they don't want to talk to us. They're actually very kind.
How long have you been in America?
So I've lived in Portland for a year and then for a few months in Redondo Beach. So
right.
About 14 months. Yeah, not a long time.
All right. Yeah, I've never been to Portland. I think the furthest up that direction was Seattle, Washington.
Oh, but Seattle's beautiful. Wow,
yeah, it's very nice.
With the water and everything, it's such a beautiful city.
Yeah.
And so, do you guys know what states are? I don't know. What's good horror states? States that kind of support horror films and everything.
That's interesting. I kind of think horror has its own little audience in different parts of the country. Like as opposed to, I think maybe like one state's all horror. I think like you probably will find like a horror community, in different cities.
Okay.
There's probably I would think there's like a horror crowd in every city.
Well, that's great. That's good.
Find. I know it's big in Atlanta. We're there in Atlanta. This is a lot of stuff in Boston, Los Angeles, probably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel that in Portland I had a few friends that they liked watching a lot of indie horrors that weren't, famous or anything. They would screen that or, for fun and everything. So that was interesting. So I hear what you're saying. Every community will have, a group of people that likes horror. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's good wherever you are to try to find because we have a couple theaters in Boston that show a lot of older movies and art house movies. And it's good if you can find something like that and try to support it because if places, places like that aren't around, a lot of movies won't get seen.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's very true. But like you said, with Netflix and everything, you can. I know with Halloween, that's also nice because then you can click like horror movies and it's all there and it's really easy to watch and everything. So that's kind of fun too.
Definitely. There's a theater in Boston I've been going to for the last 5 years maybe. And they do a horror movie marathon every Halloween, and it's from midnight Halloween till noon the next day. So it's 12 hours of horror movies.
Oh wow! Oh, that's very cool. You have to be very shocked after that,
Yeah, they usually give you a pin that says I survived the marathon because most people leave by the time, but they'll stay for the first few hours. So 12 hours.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do a whole 12 or 24 hours on anything. Even if it was Disney cartoons, I don't know if I could handle that.
But have you finished it, Neil?
I have. Yeah. This last one, this last year I didn't even fall asleep. I usually will try to stay up, but usually I'll fall asleep during a movie or two. But this time I tried to pace myself. I took a little break between each movie and walked around a little bit and got something to drink, and so I made it through all 12 hours.
Well, that is very impressive. Wow. You can be proud. I mean, 12 hours through the night.
Yeah. 12 hours.
I wish I were there. I'm wishing I would sleep a little bit. Yeah, no, it's really, I think horror movies are just going to continue to become scarier and scarier, and reaching, you get psychological, like you said, comedy and all of those different. So it's so broad, and I think there's, for everyone there's a movie.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Then there's a great world vibe on things like that too. If you watch like you were saying about The Ring, if you watch it more like that Japanese style horror film, they usually have these great visuals, but maybe the storyline's not as cohesive as maybe I like, but and then you'll get like other like European films that are more like character driven, and it's kind of cool just to look at like just like the whole palette of everything.
Okay, I want to know, do you have like a Japanese movie that you could that you know of? I've heard they were very scary. I don't know.
They are, but they're so visual. Don't expect like a great ending. Yeah.
Okay.
Like Ringu, the original Ring was Japanese.
Yeah.
And then also The Grudge is Japanese too.
They remake, the English remakes. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, that's very interesting. Wow. Okay, so it's more visual, so they would have a lot of great jump scares and unexpected scares.
There's crazy
that's
things
also
happening.
Fun.
Yep. But like personally, I always like more like a character-driven thing. So another remake, if you saw like, which one's the American version, Neil? Is it Let the Right One In, or is that the French one?
That's the Let the Right One In is the is it French or
Belgium?
That's Swedish, I think.
Oh, Swedish, okay. But they're both like, it's about like a little kid vampire. It's a great movie.
Wow.
That's another good one to look up.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. So then the American version is fine, but it's pretty much just a shot-for-shot remake, just that, in English.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. No, I'll watch the original one and maybe the English one. Yeah. Because the original is obviously it was that person's dream to make that film. And
right.
He or she did. No, okay, so that's very interesting to hear, all remakes and everything. But I wouldn't know, I thought The Ring was like just an original.
Oh, right. Yeah, if you had nothing, to like compare it to. Well, if you didn't see an ad for, because one of our guests, Adam Green, you tell the story better than I do, Neil.
Yeah, he's actually one of our first guests on the show, and he made the movie Hatchet, which I don't know if you're familiar with, but it had a great tagline in it. It was what was the tagline? I'm trying to think now. It's been a long time ago.
Not a remake.
Not a remake. Yeah, not a remake. Not a sequel, and not based off a Japanese movie. And I always thought that was a funny tagline, and so I asked him about it on the show, and he said it was an actual from an actual email he got when he was trying to sell the movie, and one of the companies turned him down and said the reason why they turned him down was because it wasn't a remake, it wasn't a sequel, and it wasn't based off.
It was too original, and that was like his rejection letter.
Wow. That's a great rejection letter. It's too unique. I'm sorry. It's too unique.
Yeah, I shouldn't even tell you that. That's kind of like a disheartening thing. Like, don't bother. Just remake something else. Don't do anything original.
Yeah, please don't think out of the box.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
That's good.
Yeah.
No,
it's well,
interesting.
We do have another guest coming up, so it's been great talking to you, Reina, and we'd love to have you back again sometime.
Yeah,
so thank you so much, Neil, and Troy. I'm right, like
yep.
Neil, your brothers. Yes. Okay. It was lovely speaking to two brothers, and thank you for having me. And I hope to see a lot of great reviews, and I'm going to read your reviews and take your recommendations for the future.
All right, awesome. I appreciate that. Yeah. Now I'll just send you links like every couple days.
You'll get sick of us in no time.
Watch this one. Okay.
Like I'm running out of time here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, skip it. Like fast forward.
Yeah, there you go.
I saw the ending in the beginning. Yay! No, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming on. All right.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great chat.
Hey, this is Jill Gavargazian.
Chris Knitter.
Hey, this is Jordan Rio. We're from 42 Counts, and you're listening to Without Your Head.